Welcome to our channel. I am your Kader Master, and this is the focus. Recently, I read an article in the Lanka website, and it is thought provoking and timely. It drew a parallel between this government and the Chandrika Kumartunga's 1994 government, and it's asking, is the government of NPP a Ponzi administration? It has pointed out that today people are in the queue for days and weeks to obtain their passport. The government has taken steps to address that issue. However, while the people were waiting in the queue or waiting for long, people like Lanza and Veerasekara, the previous old guards, they obtain it within no time. How it was possible? Because still their shadow government is running behind the back of the NPP. And also now the people do not feel that the government is moving forward. To its credit, true, it is honest, corruption free, and they are not obtaining any perks or privileges. All that is good. But that is not all the people expected. They wanted a direction, a fast movement of this government, which is lacking. That's why even during that flood time, its Politburo member, Kasilingam, openly stated that this government was very slow in responding to the people's need when at the time of disaster. So this lethargy, this slow progress will not meet the expectation of the people. That's why today we are going to discuss about this topic. The Chandrika's government 1994. And it also mentioned that it found it difficult to form a government, even with the support of late Mr. Ashraf's Muslim Congress. They were short of one seat, and it was provided by Malayga Makkal Munnani, that is, Upcountry People's Front, where I played a very important role. I was the Secretary General of that party, and we had from prison straight, we faced the election and won a seat and entered the parliament. And we had a lot of pressure from the Gamini and UNP camp to support them, because if we had supported them, they would have formed the government. But we took a principled stance and supported Chandrika's government, which came to power and tried to do what it promised. Most of the time, Chandrika had very progressive ideas to her credit, but the officers around her didn't allow her to do. Not only that, they sabotaged it. I witnessed it because as a person who was holding a position in the ministry, while Chandrasekharan was the deputy minister, I was holding several posts, and I was closely working with Chandrika Bandanayaka. I was the chief organizer for the entire plantation sector during her presidential election. So we worked very closely. And I want to share my experiences. Chandrika, she had good intention. She formed a very powerful authority, that is Southern Development Authority, in order to address the age old problems of the Southern people, which was treated as uh, s- indifferently. So, very powerful and very honest person was appointed as its chairman. That is none other than Naveen Gunaratna. Even he is alive, and whoever knows him, everybody knows his integrity. And he is a person free from any corruption, and his policy was that he didn't allow anybody to involve in corruption in that organization. Now, I'm going to tell you a very interesting story. Now, see, this is a mixture of several things. Here you find the World Trade Center or the Twin Tower in Sri Lanka. I had a connection or a friendship with some of the directors, World Trade Centers directors family, and which Naveen and his friend, one I think Sarat Hemsri, if I am not mistaken, he came to me and asked me to use my influence and to invite investors to develop southern province. Then he brought me several projects which were very, very attractive. And I spoke to I spoke with my friends. The friend who is related to the Twin Tower World Trade Center director board, he was attracted by one project. You know what? Sri Lanka still has the largest business network in Asia at that time. At that time, there was no supermarket concept, but it had about 100,600 outlets all over the island. No other country had such an extensive network. So he brought a proposal, but it was running under loss. It was considered as one of the thieves. Then he spoke to me frankly, and he asked me to convince these people to bring some investor. Finally, I managed to do that. And the, my friend, who is a relative of Twin Tower director, he found an investor who agreed to do that under certain conditions. First condition was that they will not give any bribe to anybody. Number two, they can't go from one table to another table pushing this file. So it should be very straightforward. If there is, I thought it's one window. If you go and meet Mr. Naveen, then he will do everything, and he is directly connected to uh, President Chandrika Bandaranaike. So they were very happy. So they submitted a proposal. They said, we give a loan, because at that time Sri Lanka didn't have money, because it was looking for credit line. They said, we will give a credit line for 6 months. We will supply food, food items, whatever the cooperatives want. Everything we provide. Below the price would be uh, very competent in the world market, and you would be, with this price you can compete with your your nearest competitor, Satosa, and the government should give us a state guarantee for the money. Every 6 months, they have to pay back. Then, for that, they expected only one thing, that is, a small space in every cooperative or in main cooperatives in the regional areas where they will sell the items that were not sold by the cooperatives, such as electronic items, sports items, etc. So the proposal was very attractive. They were very happy. And then I must remember this gentleman, my friend, late Amarasiri Dodangada. What a wonderful human being he was. Today, the NPP, all the ministers are not avoiding perks and privileges. But in 1974, he set an example for that. He traveled in a pickup vehicle without any escort, very simple person, very honest. So he was very happy and he never called me Mr. I never called him minister. We called Sahodaya, comrades. And he was very happy and he was pushing this project. He wanted to see the light of the day. Everything was going on very well. And the team was to visit Sri Lanka. They were fixing a date and getting ready to come. Then only something happened. Now you may wonder why the picture of Simao Bandanayaka and Kingsley TV Kramaratna is here. So I have already mentioned about the one of the gem of a person, Navin Gunaratna, and here I am, and Twin Tower, and Amarasri Dodangoda, not about them. Suddenly there was a gazette notification appeared from the blue. It said, hereafter, the Satosa and cooperative both will work together and there will be a tender procedure to invite suppliers. So this chapter was closed and they were disappointed. Hereafter, we could not face that investors. What happened? These corrupt bureaucrats, they went and poisoned. He's a nice gentleman, Vikramaratna, Kingsley. They might have told him that this is against Satosa, and he has close connection with Simao Bandanayaka. He persuaded her to call for a tender. So that's how he ended there. Then another project, another friend of mine brought it. He said, not now, it is 1994. Now we are talking about IT. They came, they were prepared to teach IT in every school in Sri Lanka to the students above grade 8. And they want to discuss with the government, and what they expected from the government is very, very minimal appearance. They wanted to do something for the country because we have persuaded them in such a manner. But it didn't move forward. Another bitter experience was that another project came from Malaysia. That is tea cultivation for the southern development. They wanted 1,500 acres free of charge, and this will be the investment of the government, and then it will be a joint venture. As you know, it will take about from 20 to 40 years for a teak tree to mature, but this colonized teak will yield in 5 years. so that they don't want to make a environmental disaster, so that they want to go by stripe. First stripe, they will plant one row of teak. Then thereafter, they clear the other stripe when it grows up after 1 year. Then they will plant the second stripe. So therefore, they won't stripe all the uh, forest, the 1,500 acres uh, uh, in one go. They want to do it in a staggering basis so that every year there will be a yield. We can cut and again it will grow. That is how it is. So everything we discuss day and night. I have not seen that investor, but the person still, again, it came from the same source, trusting us, and they wanted to do something for the country. Suddenly, again, another gazette notification, this time from Dibu Jaradna, the minister in charge of forestry, banning all tea cultivation in Sri Lanka because the so-called scientific report submitted by environmental experts, they are more corrupt than anybody else at that time. I don't know today. They told him, I guess they told him that teak is a national disaster. If you cultivate teak, then the nothing else could be cultivated, and the land would become barren, and very soon the country would become a desert. So then the Gazette notification stopped, declared that they are not giving permission to cultivate teak again in this country. So that was the end of it. This is how they sabotaged it. I have seen Chandrika was surrounded by people. I don't know. Many people didn't know who they were. They came from UK, America, and all the time because Chandrika had a lot of friends, no, abroad. So they were around them, poisoning her mind. And I have to tell you, one honest secretary who was working under the ministry of Kingsley, he was supporting this. Finally, he also was thrown out of that ministry because he was extremely honest. This is the fate the country faced that time. Therefore, I warn this government, don't trust these, most of these bureaucrats. They are the people who ruined this country. They were with the Mahinda Rajapakshas, Ranil Wickremesinghes, and everybody, all the corrupt. They were the people teaching them uh, how to make money out of government using government positions. So these people, they they are there in order to suck the blood of the nation. So therefore, the government should be careful. Otherwise, how Lanka and uh, Veera Sekara could obtain a passport while within few hours, while the people were waiting in the queue. So this is this is what happening. They will form their shadow government and they play out. Now, see, the government promised to bring the corrupt elements to the books. Yes, inquiry, in the name of inquiry, the people are invited. They are coming in their car, going to the CID office, headquarters, giving their statement, coming out and facing the media and telling that they invited us to give a statement. It is our duty. We gave a statement. That's enough. Who are the officers? They were the people sabotaged the uh, the previous corrupt allegation inquiries. So if you are relying on the same bureaucrats to punish these people, you will be punished by the people at some point. So therefore, careful. Also, the government's task is not only to eradicate corruption. You are extremely honest, we know, and you are not going for any privileges or anything. That's why people still love you, still trust you. But you have to keep up this trust. Daily, you must deliver something good news to the people. At least you must send one culprit every month, and it should be the people should be confident that you are moving in the right direction. Also, I would suggest to form a Ministry of Outreach. In the UK, one NGO, Christian NGO, has formed this. That is Outreach Ministry. If you can recall, in 1970, Srimao Bandaranaike's government tried this. They pioneered this. They tried. The idea came from the left people, and they formed People's Committee to eradicate corruption and supervise the development programs. But it was hijacked by the same corrupt people, politicians, and other things. But the concept was very good. That's what, when I was the vice president of Sloan Teachers Union at the time in 70s, we were discussing with some experts and good, like-minded people, and they said they were appreciative of the concept, but not the way it was implemented. Today, this government can develop it further, not only to eradicate corruption, but also to identify local talents. You can create a ministry under the um, direct control of the president, and a minister, if is a male, then the deputy minister must be a female, because it is community based one. It should reach out to every villages, every district there should be a committee to look after it. It is not like the previous people's committee. It should be involved in multi uh, it should be multifaceted. It can identify the local talents. If special needs, the people who were handicapped, handicapped by without any support, then they can identify that and provide them. And also local resources. What are the resources there? How to develop it? All that they can work out with the local people. If necessary, they can get the support of the experts from the national level, and they can work out projects and submit to the respective ministry and see that it is implemented. So it could connect the people. Now we know there are few, not all, few ministers, very, very talented. Any ministry they can handle. They are extremely honest. But now they had a lot of trust and love from the people. Now they were isolating from the people because they have to look after the ministry and work out day and night, and to clear the mess created by the previous governments and all, so that the people, this government will alienate from the government. This your enemies will make use of it. So to connect the people, you need a mechanism. Through this Ministry of Outreach, you can fill that gap, and you could be set an example to the world. With that, message, I will uh, I'll wind up this program, and I'll see you in my next program. Thank you very much.